Hello, I'm Paul Louis Metzger, the director of the Institute for Cultural Engagement, New Wine, New Wineskins. Welcome to New Wine Tastings. This is my privilege today to introduce to you Dr. Jessica Taylor. Dr. Taylor is the Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion at Multnomah University. Jessica, thanks so much for joining us at New Wine Tastings for this video session.
Thanks for having me.
And the focus today is on Black History Month, Black Future Month. And February 1st is right before us, and so this is the theme for us today with the beginning of the Black History Month. So, Jessica, I have a couple of questions for you today, and one is, much is said about if we don't understand history, we tend to repeat it. George Santayana famously made that point. Why to you is it so important that we are concerned for Black History Month, that we should make that a key focus? Why is that so important in your estimation?
I think we need to be able to see where we've come from so that we can take direction and see where we need to go. And I also think that there's some of our history that we definitely want to repeat. Things like Black excellence and things like people taking a stand or making a difference in their context. And so it both helps us not repeat the negative, and it does help us really focus in on the positive and make sure that we're doing those things. So it's of great importance to be able to understand where we come from so that we can understand where we want to go.
So you put a lot of emphasis on the great things that have been done, excellence, also understanding some of the negative aspects of history and what's been done toward the African American community. It's a both and, correct?
Absolutely, it's a both and. And one of the things I think is important is there are a lot of discussions right now that are happening around diversity and equity, inclusion, or the negative parts of history, and we need those discussions. But I also feel like there's a need to come up for air and have the discussions that are celebratory. And that's a big reason that we actually look at individuals and we say, this is what you did, or this is what you overcame. Not just what was the problem, but the fact that these people were a solution. And that's why it's important to understand the negative with the positive, both and, so that we can come up for air and have a time to celebrate who we are.
I really appreciated your focus here at Multnomah University and Seminary about the redemptive aspect of diversity, and we need to celebrate it, and inclusion and equity. And we need to deal with the challenges prophetically, and I've appreciated that thrust in your work. Also, that, like Dr. King, the beloved community, that vision that we need to move forward, and there's so much that we can do together that we can't do separately. And so I appreciate the prophetic aspect that both challenges us and also invites us, and I see that in your work. Anything about what stands out to you in terms of your work here that really motivates you here at the university?
I love working with students. I love taking what is a problem and finding solutions, finding things that help us think beyond where we were and help us really envision what we could be. I also love helping people understand the systems that go hand in hand with our individual heart change or the individual action that needs to happen, so that we don't focus too much on the systems that seem so big or only focus on the heart change that needs to happen, but we're focusing on both, which I think is a sustainable part of the solution. And so helping people see that they are part of that even in small ways we can always be impacting that for the good, that really excites and motivates me, because there's hope at the end of that. We deal a lot with despair and trauma and issues of, will this ever get better? And even thinking historically how different people even 300 years thought things might be now, and they just aren't as different as they should be. And so for us, looking forward and saying, what are the differences going to be 300, 400 years from now, and hoping that they're better, but also having just a greater grasp and understanding again of the systems that are contributing to those things happening or not. And so I love for people to be able to glimpse hope, but also to have places to put their feet and actually move things forward in their spheres of influence.
Excellent. What are 2 or 3 aspects of Black History Month themes, individuals that really motivate you toward the future?
I love that we are in a place in our nation where we're willing to have some conversations. And so I don't want to discount that at all. But one of the things I'm excited about is moving conversations to action, moving it to actually say, I had that conversation, my mind is wrapping around that, but I'm going to deposit that into my heart and do something different, change how I am or even who I am to be able to work together with the community to say, we've got to do better. And so I love conversation, but I also love moving it to action. So Black History Month is all about having those conversations, creating awareness, and hopefully that moves into action throughout the rest of the year where we can be celebrating the milestones of what's happening. I would also say Black History Month for me kind of has an element of remembrance and lament where you're recognizing who's gone before you and what they sacrificed for you to sit where you sit. For me to do the work I do, I stand on a road that was just paved with people who dreamed of someday somebody being able to do the work I do. And so it's also this sobering experience for me to look at where people have sacrificed so that I can be here. And so I have a lot of gratitude for that. And it also is a great time to just, again, celebrate the excellence of Black people and in all of our shades as well, to confront the myth that Black is a certain definition or a certain shade, but to really fight against that and say all of us who share that identity have something special about us and we can achieve excellence, not just in spite of or in this really unhopeful place where we just think, oh, there's exceptional Black people, but that we are exceptional as a race of people. They're exceptional as a people.
That's powerful, powerful. Just on this point of Black future, I mean, Black history, Black future, Black present. Dr. King, I just keep coming back to, I think a lot about his work. I'm doing a book in light of his sermon on the Vietnam War, the need to move from a culture of things to persons. That just impacted by that message, and Time Magazine just did a piece on him just this last week. This idea of the Black future, future for all people, for King, it was never one group of people over against another. Beloved community was inclusive of all. He said, when we win this battle, it won't just be for us, but we'll include even those who've been our oppressors in this solution that we all win. What are some of your hopes, your aspirations, your dreams for the Black future?
I hope for a reconciliation and for a new birth. And by that I mean there is so much generational trauma and there is so much hurt and pain, and there's just been a constant fight and striving. And so I wish for reconciliation that can create some peace, that doesn't always have to come from things being so hard fought and hard won, that doesn't always pit us against, but that says, hey, we are part of that collective. That's a dream. That's a dream. We're not there yet. But I hope for that. That's part of the reason I do the work I do, because I believe that reconciliation is possible, and I believe that peace is possible even in the midst of the fight. And so it's not something where I'm waiting for a certain outcome, or I think people need to wait for a certain outcome and then we can have peace. I want to have peace and reconciliation right now in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's exciting. I just wanted to say thank you once again, Jessica. It's just a delight to have Dr. Taylor here at Multnomah as Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion. We need this. We need to grow in this as an evangelical Christian educational institution, and for myself as an individual as well. I have a long way to go. And we just had a forum this morning for faculty that was really, really educational. It was inspirational. And I just want to say thank you, and really grateful that you're helping to lead the charge here at the university and seminary. So, Dr. Taylor, thank you once again. I'm Paul Louis Metzger, and thank you for joining us at New Wine Tastings.